Good morning and welcome to Life at Noon. My name is Rachel Hugenberg. I am a reference librarian here at Lone Star Sci-Fair, and this morning I'm really excited to have with us Robin Roberts, who is a consulting hypnotist. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Business from University of New Orleans and a certification in hypnosis from the National Guild of Hypnotists. I didn't know there was a Guild of Hypnotists. Wow. In the ensuing years, she has seen over 1,000 people, assisting them with life changes in a variety of parts of their lives. She expanded her hypnotic message in 2010, creating a comedy hypnosis show. As an award-winning speaker and actress, she created lots of fun, laughs, and amazement for her audiences in Southwest Texas and beyond, as she brought awareness to the often misunderstood practice of hypnosis. Combining her love of speaking with her hypnotic skills, Robin now offers experiential workshops where the attendees take part, discovering the effect their mind has upon their actions and results. Her attendees then learn solid techniques to use in order to take more authority over their lives, attitudes, actions, and outcomes using self-hypnosis. She continues to work with individual clients as well as to speak professionally. She speaks, teaches, and entertains with her seminars and her show, Robin Roberts, The Mind Powers Entertainment, for a wide variety of clients, including nonprofits, that'd be us, schools, also us, corporations, and private parties. So, Robin, if you would please take it away.
Thank you so much, Rachel, and good afternoon. Happy lunchtime if you're live, and if you're watching this on YouTube, happy whatever. I had a friend named Sam, and Sam was a very successful salesperson. He was so successful that he quickly made a lot of money because, you know, salespeople, commission, all of that, bought a new house, moved up in the company. And one day after work, it was a heck of a day. He got into his car. He was thinking about his day. He was trying to figure out how to land a new client. And, you know, Houston traffic. And he's driving. He pulls in his driveway and he looks up and he's like, what is this car doing in my driveway? I don't recognize his car. And then he looks up and he realizes he just drove to his old house. Yeah. His subconscious mind was on autopilot, and his subconscious mind ran the pattern that he had run so often, it just defaulted to that. It didn't stop and ask where to go or anything. And I tell you this story because our subconscious minds, more often than not, are on autopilot. And how often do we actually, metaphorically, of course, pull into the wrong driveway and wonder why we're not where we planned on being? And that is what I'm going to help you understand today. I am going to help you understand how the subconscious mind is your best friend, is your ally, will always be with you, and how to use it so that you can create what you want in your life so that you pull into the right driveway every time. How about that? Does that sound good? All right, good. Most of all, what I want you to understand is that hypnosis is something that is very natural, very normal, and we all spend a lot of our time in hypnosis. I have people, oh, I don't think I can be hypnotized. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're hypnotized most of the time. For example, who can tell me what's Nike's tagline? I'm reading lips.
Just do it.
Just do it. That's right. Congratulations, Sarah. You've been hypnotized. Or Rachel, I know Sarah's, but I think Rachel said it. So yes, if you were not in hypnosis, marketing and advertising wouldn't work, because what you're hearing repeatedly, you're just soaking it in, not even knowing. So wouldn't it be amazing if this incredible subconscious mind, which can learn all these things without you even paying attention to it and can help you get where you want to go, wouldn't it be great if it was working for you? Now, a lot of times people really feel like it's working against them. And if you learn nothing else today, which I hope you learn many things, but if you learn nothing else, what I really want you to know is that your subconscious mind is your best friend. And I want to introduce you so that you have a much clearer picture of this best friend and know that this best friend will never leave you, will never abandon you, only has your best interest at heart, even though it might not look like it. So let me explain, introduce really your best friend to you. The first thing to know is that your best friend, your subconscious mind, you were born with it. You weren't born with anything else, really. You were born with your subconscious mind. Now, I'm going to take a moment and say, okay, so we're going to be very simple about this today. We got conscious mind, we've got subconscious mind. Conscious mind is what gets created. That's what your parents and your authority figures and your siblings and your peers help you to have that conscious mind and to make good decisions. The conscious mind is logical, it's linear, it's also highly valued in our culture. That's why we all, go to school and learn things, because knowledge is very valued. So your conscious mind thinks, plans, analyzes, and makes decisions. But that's it. That's all it does. When it comes to taking action, hello, subconscious mind is about this. So conscious mind, logical and linear. Subconscious mind, literal. Your subconscious mind is literal. And when you're born and all you have is a subconscious mind, its job, it only has one job. If a baby is never fed, held, changed, loved, what happens to it? I know it's a little dark, but what happens to it? Yeah, it dies. And so your subconscious mind has one job, and that would be to keep you alive. Yes. In other words, your subconscious mind's job is your survival, period. It was that way when you were born. It's that way as you sit here at this moment, and it will always, always be that way. So just think of that as that ally who will always be with you to do everything in its power to keep you alive. So that is the thing I really want you to understand. Because sometimes people come to me and they think their subconscious mind is working against them. They're like, no, I decided to go on a diet on Monday, and by Monday night I was eating cake because my subconscious mind just let me eat cake. Yeah, no. We'll talk more about that, but I just want to plant that little seed for now. So your subconscious mind is literal. And you, as a little human, all you've got is this subconscious mind, and it has to learn how to survive in the world. So what it does is it starts sucking in information. It learns how to make its parent or whoever happy, right? It learns things like clean your plate. Anybody ever been told to clean their plate? Right. So it learns very quickly, clean your plate, because otherwise you're going to have to sit and look at those lima beans for an hour. Was it only me looking at lima beans? I don't know. But that your subconscious mind learned how to behave, if you will. For example, for those of you who might be from south of the Mason-Dixon line, I'm from north of the Mason-Dixon line, so I did not grow up, but I hear it down here in Texas, where children are taught, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And if they were to just go, yes, or yeah, what does the parent say? Yes, what? And that is a great example of subconscious mind programming. So much so that when I'm talking to people, even if we're peers, and I go, so what do you think about that? And yes, ma'am. And I'm like, okay, but I'm your peer. That's a little weird, but okay. But it's just learned, it's just ingrained. And so the subconscious mind really sucks up all that kind of information. And that's how it starts to live life, right? I mean, did anybody here have elbows off the table? Elbows off the table. And to this day, do you eat with your elbows on the table? Maybe if you're watermelon or something. But you see, these things, they're patterns, and they're put into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind literally runs the patterns. So literal. Number two, your subconscious mind thinks in pictures. It doesn't think in words, and it really doesn't think in highfalutin concepts. It thinks in pictures. Think about this for a moment. What do you think of when I say, don't think of pink elephants? Pink elephants. That's right. All you can see are pink elephants, right? You see, there's no picture for don't, can't, wouldn't, shouldn't. There's no picture for those things. So when you say, don't eat the cake, what do you think of? Cake, 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 cake. And this is why, to take a little bit of a diversion here, talk about raising children. Don't run out into the street. What do they see? Running out into the street. How about stay on the sidewalk? See, stay on the sidewalk is a better picture for a child because it's very literal, and they see the sidewalk and they understand they're on it or they're not right. The biggest way I see this affects people as adults is you get very focused on what you don't want. I don't want that kind of job. Well, what kind of job do you want? Well, and then we get a little airy-fairy, if you will. It's like calling a travel agent and saying, hey, I want to take a trip, don't want to go to St. Louis. What are they supposed to do? Where are they supposed to send you? They have no idea. So we have to have pictures for the subconscious mind to grab onto so that we can move in that direction. And they've got to be pictures in the direction you want to go, not in the direction you want to stay away from. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So subconscious mind, literal, thinks in pictures. Here's an interesting one. Has no sense of time. No sense of time. Okay, so who here has pulled into their driveway and gone, whoa, I'm home? Yeah, you're just, time escapes you. Okay, Shaheen, are you a reader? Do you like to read? Do you like movies? Movies, yeah. So you're watching a movie and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so late. I need to go to bed, or I need to leave for something. And you are totally lost. That is when you're in your subconscious mind, because it has no sense of time. And then when you see the time, you're like, whoa, you're brought back into your conscious mind. Now, this is really important because, you know, for your subconscious mind, if it doesn't understand time, it cannot, and it's not logical, it cannot understand that if you smoke this cigarette today, in 10 years, you might have COPD. It can't put those things together. We're going to come back to that as well. So understand that your subconscious mind has no sense of time. Now, here's the big one. This is really important because it's your best friend, right? It's looking out for you. It's doing the best that it can. So I want to tell you a story. A friend of mine, she told me her 5-year-old came to her the other day, and she's got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the 5-year-old little boy, 3-year-old daughter. So the 5-year-old ran into her bedroom. woke her up. Mom, it's going to be a great day. I have planned something so fun for you. We're going to play hide and seek. I've hidden knives all over the house, and we're going to get up and go find them. And hey, Janie, she's already found a couple of them. Isn't that great? That's right, terrifying, because a 5-year-old does not have the nuance of how dangerous a knife is. And she was like, oh, but I love this story because this is the truth about your subconscious mind. It ages out. It tops out at 5 years old. 5 years old. So you've got a best friend who's always there for you for your survival with a 5-year-old's understanding. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that put a different light on things? So it's there for you, and it always means the best, but it doesn't have the nuance that we have in our conscious mind as we age. So that puts a different wrinkle in things. But now it makes sense, right? That it only thinks in pictures, that it runs on a program. It's just very, very simple. So I tell you all of that to tell you this. When we work in hypnosis, we are working with the subconscious mind. Because the subconscious mind is in charge of your survival, everything will default to the subconscious mind. So when you make a decision to do X, Y, or Z consciously, if your subconscious mind doesn't see the benefit or that it's going to keep you alive, it may or may not do it. It just depends on how it falls into the programs that it already has. When you're in hypnosis, your conscious mind is wherever it is when you're driving and you're not aware of it, or you're reading or you're watching movies. It's there. The conscious mind's job was to get you, in the case of working with a hypnotist, to the hypnotist. And then it's done. It's done its work. And the subconscious mind, now, if we're actually like literally doing a hypnosis session, the conscious mind goes and the subconscious mind is right there paying attention. Why? I've already told you the answer. So I want to see, why would the subconscious mind be paying attention?
To keep you alive?
Ding, ding, ding. Absolutely, because it's in charge of your survival. And who's this hypnotist person? And what the heck are they saying to me? And it's keeping you safe, isn't it? Now, if the person doesn't feel safe with the hypnotist, they're never going to go into hypnosis. The subconscious mind won't let them because that person doesn't feel safe. That's why when I work, I spend time talking to my clients. I talk to them before they come. We sit and talk. Like my first appointment is an hour and a half plus because we're going to talk. We're going to build our relationship so that you feel comfortable with me. And by all means, if you didn't, I would expect you to, this doesn't feel right. And that's cool. But that's an important piece of it, because once you're comfortable, then you can relax and go into a hypnotic trance. And all a hypnotic trance is focused attention. You are not asleep. You are not unaware. If anything, you're actually hyper aware, because what happens, just like when you're reading the book or even driving, you're like so focused on the thing that anything else could be going on in the background. Have you ever seen people that like they get that head down, blinders on, and bombs could be going off around them? They have no clue, no concept. They are so into their subconscious mind. And so like if you're working on a project and you're creating that project, you got that focused attention. You are in your subconscious mind. Obviously, you're using all your resources and all your skills, but you are just cutting everything else out. So that's the state that we want to be in for hypnosis to work. and just that relaxed state. And also because I've been speaking to you before we got to that point, I know what it is that you are interested in. I know, see, I believe I work from a point of view, a philosophy that deep down, you know what you want. You know what drives you or what doesn't drive you. You know what obstacles you are facing. And with a little guided conversation, it's going to be like, oh. And then when you're in hypnosis, I'm really just feeding back to you the pictures that you want and eliminating all those pictures that were getting in your way. Does that make sense? Okay. That is how it works. Now, I know people have a lot of ideas, myths about hypnosis, so I'm really happy to address some of those. I'm going to tell you a couple stories that will illustrate a few things in real life as opposed to just conceptually. So again, going back to the subconscious mind, it's your best friend. It's all there for your survival. So here's an interesting question for you. Why, if it's there for your survival, why would your subconscious mind let you smoke a cigarette? Do, 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 do. Because I mean, certainly consciously, you know it's not good for you. Consciously, you know you could get sick. But here's the thing, your subconscious mind is trying to solve a problem. So when you have something that's not working for you and you keep like beating your head against the wall, think about what the problem is. So let's go back to my smoker. My smoker doesn't want to smoke anymore. That's a conscious decision. They hate it. It smells terrible. Their spouse is giving them all kinds of grief about it. They know they shouldn't do it, blah, blah, blah. But nothing has worked so far. So I had a client who was in that situation. And when I was talking to her, she told me about her first experience smoking. She was in the car with her older brother, and he had a friend in the front seat. She was in the back seat. And at some point in this drive, he turned around and handed back to her a cigarette. Oh, I'm an adult. My brother thinks I'm grown up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It affirmed her. It let her fit in. All of these things that, you know, especially as teenagers, we're looking for. And I would tell you, most people start in the teenage years. I have had a few who start in their 20s, but most start in the teen years. And so for this particular client, the fact that it was her brother was so significant. And so every day when she had a cigarette, it affirmed who she was. She got that little, now she wasn't conscious of that anymore, because you see, if we think about that consciously, we think about, really? Like a cigarette affirms you? What are you, little, what? Because that's your conscious mind. But the subconscious mind of this client got a great hit from, oh, and it felt good. And your subconscious mind wants you to feel good. And so now when she's upset or stressed and she wants to feel good, what does her subconscious mind do? Hey, have a cigarette. You're cool. You're all right. You're grown up. You can handle this. Have a cigarette. And so you see, it was answering the anxiety or the, maybe she was angry. I have a lot of people tell me they smoke when they're angry or they smoke when they're bored. So it's learned that this is an answer to these other problems. So when you see a hypnotist, what we really want to do is find a different answer to the problems. Now, remember, I said the subconscious mind is literal. It doesn't think. It can't find its own answer to the problem. I mean, it can, but it has to be really prodded and pushed. In hypnosis, we can help that process along. It can't what it can't do is go, that's not working. Let's choose something else, because that would be logic. So we offer it something else. Now, for this particular client, when she went into hypnosis, I had her go back to the car, and I had her brother turn around and say, you don't need to do that anymore. I love you. You're an amazing person, and you're great just the way you are. She never smoked another cigarette. Never. So that's the kind of power. We gave her a picture of, she had the affirmation, she had everything, she just didn't need the cigarette anymore. So that's the kind of power that one little picture, just him turning around and going, you don't need that, can completely change how she responds to the circumstances. That's the power of the subconscious mind when we get it working for us. There was another example I wanted to tell you about, but it escapes me at this moment. So those are the kinds of things. Oh, I know. I had a gal come to me because she, in her sleep at night, was yelling and crying and literally hitting her husband. And he said, okay, enough. You really have to do something about this. And she came to see me. And we didn't know why. I asked her all the usual questions that anybody would ask her, are you afraid? Has anything ever happened? And she really couldn't think of anything. And then just before we actually sit back, relax, take a deep breath, I just happened to say, so nothing. Middle of the night, and her eyes got big, and she thought of an incident that had happened, a life-threatening incident that her subconscious mind had let her not know consciously any longer. Once she realized that, now it broke the dam, and she could understand she was safe. We did the hypnosis session, affirming that she was safe, affirming that things are fine. And that was the end of it. Now her husband says she giggles when she sleeps. That's a good thing. But your subconscious mind, again, see how powerful it is? It was protecting her, and it just was really working overtime, really, to protect her. And it had that 5-year-old understanding. It didn't understand that it didn't need to do that anymore. And once it got, oh, okay, it was perfectly fine. And things can change just like that. All right, I've kind of just thrown all this at you. What questions do you have for me?
Okay, and you guys are welcome to put them in the chat, and I'm also going to send unmute invitations. That way you guys can unmute and ask whatever questions you would like to.
Terrific. Excuse me. Well, while you're doing it, I'll fill a little time by telling you, anybody curious what the whole pendulum thing's about? Yes. What is that? Or the watch? All right, so I want you to actually try this. Hold your head still, don't move your head. And imagine that I was swinging a watch right in front of you, and just follow it with your eyes, and just keep following it. Just keep following it while I'm talking to you. Keep doing it. Don't stop. Close your eyes. Doesn't that feel amazing? Doesn't that feel terrific? What I'm doing is tiring your eyes so that it doesn't become a battle of wills between you and I want you to close your eyes and you don't want to close your eyes. No, now you're like, oh my God. And of course, what I do, I don't actually use a pendulum, although I have one. You can get the same effect by, again, you keep your head still, because if you're doing this, it's not the same. You keep your head still. The other thing you can do is look above eye level and stare. Just look at that spot. Look at it. Don't look away. Don't close your eyes. Don't. And you can feel how tired your eyes are getting, right? It's like, oh my, no, let me close. And so when I finally go, close your eyes and relax even deeper. And you get this sense like you close your eyes and it's like, and your whole body relaxes. And usually if I'm doing that with someone, I'm also doing a breathing. So they're doing this and they're breathing in and holding it and holding it and holding it. And then so it's like, and then you just follow that relaxation all the way down. It feels so good. Your subconscious mind wants to follow that. And so it really just helps you have a physical feeling for moving into it. Because think about it, when you're driving or you have that in subconscious mind experience, you're not moving into it with intention, right? So to have to move into it with intention just feels a little odd. So this helps you move into it with intention without it feeling like, I'm not quite sure what to do here. Does that make sense? Okay. So what questions do we have, Rachel?
I know I have a question for you, which is, are hypnosis and meditation related?
This is a question I get quite often. Yes, and how's that for an answer? Yes, and different people will tell you different things. Let's start with what they have in common. Both of them are breath and letting out, letting go. Quite often with meditation, what you're doing is you're stepping back and observing, or you're emptying your mind. And different people will tell you different things. There are different kinds of meditation. With hypnosis, especially with a hypnotist, there is self-hypnosis, but let's talk about hypnosis with a hypnotist. I am guiding you to a place. I actually am moving you to somewhere in your mind. I'm not trying to empty your mind, although I might have you just observe. But when I have you just observe, I'm going to have you just observe to something relevant to what we're working on. Does it make sense? So it's a bit more active in that way, but the whole breathing and then the relaxation, those things are very much in common, and both of them provide immense benefits. And my soapbox that I get on is, I don't care if you do meditation, I don't care if you get a hypnosis recording and listen to that, but every day you should put your body into this comfortable place, because, all right, think about it this way. We are primal. Our culture is on fast forward, but we are primal. And when you are worried, anxious, upset, who could be worried, anxious, or upset these days, right? Nobody, right? Okay, so when in your daily life, you tend to either breathe very shallowly, or I don't know what's going to happen, and you don't even know it, and you're holding your breath. Now, those two things ping your amygdala, and it tells them something's not right. We got to be ready for fight, flight, or freeze. We got to be ready. So primal, saber-toothed tiger, fight, flight, or freeze. And that sends a torrent of chemicals through your body. Epinephrine, adrenaline, cortisol, on and on and on. Saber-toothed tiger, killed or goes away. A whole nother wash of chemicals comes through your body and washes away the effects of the adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol, etc. That's really important. But here's the problem. Okay, we don't have a saber-toothed tiger outside our door, just a few relatives that Shaheen's got and her 3 kitty cats. But what we do have is the news, computers, phones, deadlines, get this job done, paychecks, meeting the bills, and they don't stop. They don't go away. You don't kill them. And they push that adrenaline and epinephrine and cortisol up and up and up. And then most people don't sleep well, right? Most people don't sleep well. And sleep is about the only place you get that alternative of washing away all of that up chemical. So it's no wonder that we are just in crazy anxiety, intensity, people are unhappy. So that's why I get on that soapbox at least once a day. Take a deep breath, hold it, and then release it through your mouth slowly. And do that 3 times. And put yourself into that. I'm going to just sit here for 5 minutes if that's what it takes. And allow your body to do some resetting. It needs this time. So meditation, hypnosis, guided visualization, I don't care what you call it, prayer, I don't care, but your body is craving it. And if you don't sleep well, it's double craving it. So what that does is it sends a message that everything is okay. And if this relates to you at all, here's a trick that you can do every day. Take your cell phone, set it, the timer for 60 minutes. When it goes off, hit redo, and you stop and take 3 deep breaths. Just like I said, really, well, let's do one now, shall we? Nice and deep, hold it. And now breathe out through your mouth slowly. Twice as long out as in. Feel that relaxation, your chest, your shoulders, your back. Just feel that. It feels really nice, actually. And do it 2 more times. And then go about your business. And when the alarm goes off again, hit reset. Do the 3 deep breaths. And I want you to do this for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Don't do it at night. Don't do it at night or whatever your night is. But if you will do this for a period of time, you are training your subconscious mind to, for example, take deep breaths once an hour. If you will train yourself to do that, you will find you all of a sudden, you know what? Things seem calmer. Everybody seems so much more chill. Hey, you're more chill. And how you perceive the world is more chill. It all starts here. It starts here. No matter how crazy and everything going on in the outside world, if you will take care of here, that will be so much easier to cope with. I'm not promising it's better out there. I'm just saying you will have a better, easier time coping with out there. So that's a really great exercise if you have anxiety. And if you just find you're keyed up all the time, really grouchy, you need to give your body a break. It does a lot of work. 15 minutes in hypnosis is like 1 to 2 hours of sleep. So when I do a hypnosis show and people are up there for an hour in hypnosis, like at the end of the show, they're like, I'm ready to go. I'm having woo, 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 you know, and that's just because you gave your body some time to reset, if you will. Okay. Any other questions? And by the way, hello, Ken.
I got one. Someone told me I have very vivid dreams. And someone told me, I feel like it's everybody who says it's like your subconscious trying to talk to you. What do you think about that? Or I like to like Google, this happened and then, dreamdictionary.com or whatever, but
there you go.
Is that kind of, you said sleep's so important for resting and recharging. Does that mean anything?
Well, this is an opinion, not fact. I believe there are a couple of things going on. One is your mind sorts out the day. It puts things, if you've ever watched, it's an animated movie, The Little Girl, Joy. It explains the subconscious mind very well, actually. And so it's trying to sort through stuff and put it away. Everything you have ever seen, tasted, touched, felt, heard, all your 5 senses, everything is stored. So Inside Out. Yes, thank you very much. Inside Out. Watch that movie. Great explanation of how the mind is storing stuff. So that's number one that I think it's doing at night. And number 2, go back to primal. Subconscious mind is primal and it thinks in pictures, and there are universal symbols. So I do believe that sometimes we have dreams that are telling us something. again, that's my opinion. One of the things that I use my dreams for is before I go to sleep at night, and I highly recommend this either for an affirmation or for a problem solving thing. As you go to sleep, you're going, okay, subconscious mind, like tomorrow's going to be an amazing day and I see all these good things, and create that picture and go to sleep with it. Or, oh, I need to know how to create thus and such. So tonight as I sleep, I know you will find an interesting way to do that, and let it go. And it will work on that overnight and you will wake up. I mean, have you ever awakened with like, oh, I know what to do now? Yeah, because your subconscious mind isn't sleeping. It never sleeps. It never sleeps. So again, use it. Yes, use it. Okay. Any other questions? I mean, I got.
Yeah, and feel free to put them in the chat as well, guys. If you're having mic trouble, you're welcome to put them in the chat and I can read them out. That's fine too.
One of the things sometimes people, when they meet me and they find out I'm a hypnotist, I either get, wow, that's really interesting, or don't look at me. Now, it's got, I can look at you. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. We were talking about this way earlier, television, movies. This is kind of the myth of hypnosis, that if I can look at you, come on, you're creeped out. Don't lie to me. You're creeped out. It doesn't work that way. Now, you might meet someone who is mesmerizing and you just are like, oh, like you can't. And there are people like that. Charisma. They have charisma. But that's not the same as hypnosis. By the way, the word mesmerizing is from Franz Mesmer. He was Austrian, I believe, but he lived in France, and he did animal magnetism. And it was like the first of, let's say, modern day hypnosis. Let me assure you that hypnosis is ancient. I mean, that's the Greek sleep temples. That's hypnosis. But Franz Mesmer, he was doing this in France, and he had some good stuff about it and some bad stuff about it. Benjamin Franklin was part of a commission to look into Franz Mesmer, and they sent Franz Mesmer far, far away. They ruined his career. But that is where you get the word mesmerized. I'm mesmerized by that. Another little fact for you.
So, talking about all these different types, are there different types or different theories of hypnosis that you use in your practice?
Well, interesting. There are, I would say the two biggest things you might think of are direct hypnosis and indirect hypnosis. Direct hypnosis is probably more what you think of as the Hollywood stuff. You will go to the bank. You will take out all your money. You will give it to me. And ladies and gentlemen, please, it doesn't work like that. That doesn't work like that. But that's direct suggestion. You don't like smoking. It smells terrible. I mean, again, that is a traditional way, but not effective over the long run, because it never did smell good, but I still smoked because I was trying to solve the problem. So then there's the father of modern hypnosis. His name is Milton Erickson. When he was a child, he had polio, and they didn't expect him to live through the night. And he, by sheer force of will, said, I will, and really used his mind to see a new life. And you have to read about it. But he was a physician. He became an MD, but he believed in the power of the mind. And now Milton Erickson is what we would call indirect or suggestion. So he meets a mountain climber who wants to stop smoking. And maybe as he's chatting with him about smoking, so tell me more about climbing the mountain. And those lungs, it's like having to climb the sheerest cliff of a mountain to take a breath. In other words, he used the person's personal experience and what meant something to them to move them to the next place. Or he would completely come at it from a 90-degree angle and shock them, like somebody comes in because they want to drop weight, and he'd be like, "You're fat." And it would be like, "Ooh, well, you must want to be like that because you're the one who's eating." And when you think about this just for a minute, in more than about losing weight, when someone is off balance and they don't know how to respond, they're open. They're open. So think about this in conflict resolution. You got two people who are customer and customer service. Nope, that's our policy. Can't do that. We're not going to get anywhere. But when the customer service person says, "I hear you. Let's see how we can fix this," even if it's not what the customer really wants, they've put the customer off balance, and now they can work with them. So keep that in mind. If you're ever having an argument with someone, figure out how to get them off balance so you can like move the trajectory of the argument, because then you can create new pictures and you can find new grounds of common understanding and things like that. So that was a little bonus. Anyway, so Milton Erickson, and so now we have a much more permissive style of hypnosis. Those are the two main styles. But you also will now pull in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. Anybody heard of that? Yeah, that's your five senses and how you perceive the world. And Milton Erickson was part of creating NLP. He was one of the three people. Virginia Satir, Fritz Perls, and Milton Erickson were the three who Bandler and Grinder worked with to create NLP. So when you're doing hypnosis, we're always working with NLP, because these things that were cake and this is wonderful and it's big and it's colorful and it's powerful, and now we take it further away, we make it less colorful, we make it smaller, and changing the perception of something. If you want to get rid of something in your life, a habit or whatever, change the perception of it. Try and think about how you see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, and smell it. And then, so get that picture and then completely change that picture. You know, what color is it? It's purple. Make it gray. It smells lovely. Make it stinky. Whatever it might be. Change those pieces of it so that now it just gets further and really unpleasant. And once you flip that switch, it's really flipped.
Sarah has put in, what resources would you suggest to learn about hypnosis and our subconscious? And she also is popping off, but okay, she wanted to say
you can look up my name on the internet. I've got information on my website. So rrtheonlinepowers.com.
Yes, and I will include the website in the thank you follow-up email with everybody who attended today, as well as your contact information. That way, you know, if they want to reach out about hypnosis and discuss it, they certainly can, and to be open to further inquiry. And with that, I think we're just at about time. So thank you so much, Robin. I feel like I've learned a lot about the subconscious mind. I know our viewers will also enjoy learning about the subconscious mind in hypnosis, you know, just beyond the stereotypes and into some of more of the actual real life
best friend. Let it work for you.
Experience of it. Yes, let your subconscious work for you. I love that. So with that in mind, one of the things that has been a part of life is, thanks a ton, Robin. We're getting many thank yous from our attendees, and it's been great to just learn the basics of this and to kind of get an idea of how the subconscious mind influences what we do all the time. And maybe that might be an opportunity, you know, for what we're discussing in 2 weeks, September 15th. we are actually welcoming Harris County Pet and Animal Care, and they're going to be talking about their services, what they offer, and pet safety, as well as pet care information. One of the things that might be subconscious is, how do you choose a pet?
Definitely.
You know? So that ties in together with how animals might affect our subconscious, and we are going to see you guys in 2 weeks to discuss that. So thank you so much, Robin. We really appreciate you being here and giving such a great presentation about the subconscious, and we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Thank you.